before we dive into the book stuff, let's talk a little bit about you. Where were you born?
Mike, I was born in Fort Smith, Arkansas, but that's just because there wasn't a big enough hospital or safe enough. I'm not sure which one, in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. So Sallisaw or Muldrow. So I actually grew up in Sequoyah County in eastern Oklahoma.
Okay. And brothers and sisters, big family?
I guess it's medium. These days, I have 2 younger brothers.
Okay, so you're the first and the oldest.
I am the first and the oldest. I was supposed to have been a boy. My dad was a high school basketball coach, so I got to do a lot of things that young women didn't get to do in Sequoyah County back in the day because I was the oldest and my dad was the coach, so I went everywhere with him.
And he was, quote, babysitting you by having you along and playing. So you probably grew up playing with a lot of the guys then?
I grew up playing with virtually all guys, everything that I did, from the time I was in first grade. I would ride the bus from the elementary over to the high school where my dad was having practice, and the junior high boys would practice in the back gym. Yeah. And so we'd back there literally in first grade playing with them. My dad had set up a lower goal. They didn't have those adjustable ones then. And so then even through the summer, those were my buddies, and I would go to the swimming pool in the summer, and the older kids were telling me to do flips off the diving board to almost hit my head, and then they got in trouble because the principal ran the swimming pool in the summer, and he told my dad. So, but anyway, I grew up playing just about everything, just with all boys pretty much.
So your competitive side probably comes from that then, right? Being a girl and kind of being, I guess, a little underrated as a kid, and girls against boys, that whole thing, playing guy sports against guys. You must have been super competitive and fierce as a kid.
Yeah, I think I was born a little bit that way, but I hadn't thought about it that way. But that environment probably brought it out where I was proactive. I'd go on the offensive in terms of antagonizing or teasing boys and taking it to them if I was playing basketball. There wasn't really any other kids around there playing golf, so I played golf a lot with my mom and dad and then by myself.
Yeah. Who was first to get you into the game? Was it mom or dad?
Well, my mom and I started golf at the same time, actually.
Okay. Yeah. And what time was that?
I first played 2 or 3 times a summer, starting when I was 8. Okay. And then when I was 11, I started playing softball, and I was on a very competitive 11, 12-year-old team, and we traveled a lot, and my brothers got drug around, and I think the catalyst that caused the end of that was me crying in the back seat after we lost a game because the shortstop lost the game because she made an error. And so my parents, I do remember them saying, we need to get her into an individual sport. And at the time, there was just trying to find somebody to help teach in that area. There was a tennis pro. I think he taught at the high school and was teaching tennis in the summers. And there was somebody about 30 minutes away that was teaching golf. And so they let me pick between golf and tennis. But doing an individual sport was not an option. It was which one of those two. Yeah. And I think I picked golf because my dad was playing. And so at that point, then my mom started playing. That's when I was 12 then that next summer, and that's the summer very memorable. I would go to work with my dad. He was the coach, but he owned some little local businesses. And I would go with him. He had a convenience store and gas station, and then the Dairy Queen was next door. And conveniently, the 9-hole golf course below the floodplain with sand greens was right behind. So I would go walk 9 or 18 holes with my little red vinyl bag in the morning, put on my little Dairy Queen uniform, work from 11:30 to 3:30, and then switch out and go back and walk 9 or 18 holes in the evening. So that's how it started.